So, friends, good evening to all. On behalf of Bharati Vidya Bhavan IKS Center and all other allied institutions, we welcome a very hearty welcome to all of you for the fourth talk under the IKS series. And today's talk is going to be a different and interesting one. You know that all the scriptures, if you look at Indian scriptures, they have a story, they have a moral to tell, but at the same time, they have certain other things to tell also. So today, the topic of discussion is the leadership lessons from the Ramayana. And to talk on this particular topic, we have a very distinguished person with us. We have with us Mr. C R Seshadri. C R Seshadri is a very eminent person. He has been a corporate trainer, corporate leader, corporate coach. He has got more than, let's say, about 40 years of experience, holding a double postgraduate degree, MSc and MBA. He has not only an experience in the Indian companies, but he has got a huge amount of experience in the international companies. He has got a huge amount of experience in the corporate development programs, management development programs. He has also got a huge experience in attending the some of the best seminars and the conferences abroad. But more importantly for us, he has a deep insight into the IKS. He has got a love for IKS. He has got a passion for IKS, and he's also on the board of the Institute of Science and Religion, which is essentially one of the prominent institutions in the country integrating the scientific thoughts with the philosophical thoughts. He is also a member of our IKS cell at Bharati Vidya Bhavan. So when I requested him to talk on talk a particular topic on IKS, he was kind enough to immediately accept our invitation to talk on this particular topic. So I think without going any further this thing, I hand over the floor to Seshadri sir. Sir, the floor is open to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. IKS Gupta ji. Good evening and namaskar to all of you. Let me first directly share my screen to check whether everything is okay. Is my screen visible to all? Is
Yeah,
the screen visible?
It's visible.
Okay. Okay, let me just make some adjustments because I'm seeing all faces on my screen. So I'll minimize this so that I'm able to see my screen fully. Okay. So good evening and namaskarams to all of you. As you all know, this presentation was originally scheduled for 12th of June, but unfortunately, a horrific incident took place on that day, a sad day for all of us, owing to the terrible air crash at the Ahmedabad airport. Air India 171 Dreamliner unfortunately crashed, and we lost so many of our countrymen and also some overseas people who were traveling as passengers. So more than 265 people lost their lives. And so in honor of the departed souls, may I suggest that we all observe a 1 minute silence and pray once again for the departed souls and their families. That will be a big, great gesture from, I think, this august audience. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Then I'm happy to be here in this very special gathering, of all like-minded people. And by your prayers and blessings, I hope to churn out some very useful leadership lessons from Ramayana. Today is also a very auspicious day. It is Jagannath Rath Yatra. As most of you might know, it's a festival that is celebrated in most parts of the country and more prominently in Puri. The Lord of the universe comes out this one particular day and gives his blessings to mercy to all who are on the streets. Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Patagami, Bhavatume. So before I begin, I wish to wholeheartedly thank Dr. A.K. Sen Gupta for this wonderful IKS initiative for Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's Vashi Kendra, and also for inviting me to share my thoughts today for this particular session. This indeed is a very, a great initiative because it can help to spread awareness about the IKS and also to bring the speakers from different fields who are either directly or indirectly exposed to IKS to share some thoughts. That will be a wonderful exchange of knowledge for everyone. So with this, I begin my session, and also I wish to pay my humble respects to my revered Guru, Param Pujya Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami, who is also known as Dr. T.D. Singh in the scientific circle. He is the founding director of Bhakti Vedanta Institute and also of Dr. T.D. Singh's Institute of Science and Religion, of which I am the founding board, one of the founding board members. Unfortunately for us, he left a bit early in 2006. He departed from this planet, and his Samadhi Mandir is there, as you can see on the right-hand side there. It's located in Radhakund, which is 20 kilometers from Vrindavan, near Mathura. So Dr. T.D. Singh was a great saint and a scientist. He was also a peace ambassador who worked towards bringing scholars of all faith on a common platform, and then he was always his goal was to bring out the essence from the interfaith dialogues also. He was a champion in science and spirituality interface and widely accepted by several Nobel laureates. A wonderful, accomplished scientist and a great, humble person who really impressed one and all. So I wish to begin by paying my invocation prayers to him. So the two prayers I would like to recite for him to seek his blessings. The first one is Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the deliverer of fallen souls. His mercy turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. And I really, today in front of all of you, 70 people gathered here, I'm a dumb person and I'm also lame. So I need his prayers, blessings, and all of your prayers also, blessings also, to make me speak something that is fitting for today's session. And I'll be able to cross this mountain in the next 1 hour. Then next, of course, our obeisances to Lord Ramchandra. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Patiye Namaha. Obeisances to Sri Ram, who is also known as Ramabhadra and Ramachandra, who is mentioned in the Vedas as the greatest lord of Raghuvansha and the whole world, and he who is the husband of Mother Sita. Right. So with this, we make a formal beginning to the session. And I would like to start by the purpose for which we are here today. You know, uh, the basic point is IKS. And IKS vastness needs to be understood and appreciated, because we are a generation uh, who know about IKS, but we need to make sure that the generation next and the generation after that are also properly, informed about the vastness of our knowledge system. And the root of all this IKS is basically Vedas. So Vedas was basically compiled by Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa Vedavyas, also fondly known as Vyasadev. And the Vedas are so vast that they are considered to be the emanations of the breathing of Lord, as per Madhyadhina Shruti. And this Vedas, after compilation by Vyasadev, he divided them into four: Samaved, Yajurved, Rigved, and Atharvaved. And each of these Vedas then consists of Samhitas, which are sacred text in verses, Brahmanas, commentary in prose, and Aranyakas, which are basically treaties, forest treaties as they call. And then further, of course, uh, these Vedas, when they emanated, they were directly, I would say, implanted, into the heart. The knowledge was imparted in the heart of Brahmaji. So from Vishnu, this knowledge was automatically transferred. And this is confirmed in Bhagavad Puran. It says, Janmadyasya yato anvayaditaratas charteshu abhignya swarat tene brahma hridayadi kavaye muhyantiya surya. So tene brahma hridayadi kavaye. That means automatically the knowledge was Vedic scriptures, Vedic knowledge was directly imparted into the heart of Brahmaji. And Brahma, who is the first of all the living being in this planet, in this universe, automatically from him it has been following downwards. And then further, Puranas, Itihas, then this has been coming. Our tradition is basically knowledge has been imparted in a parampara, or you can say disciplic succession. So here you can see in this image, Bhagavad Puran is being taught by Sukadev Goswami at the banks of Ganges. To whom? To King Parikshit. King Parikshit is the grandson of Arjuna and the son of Abhimanyu. So he had only 7 days to live. He had a curse from a from a Brahmin's son named Shringi, that he will die in 7 days of a snake bite. And he was a king, emperor actually, and he invested his last 7 days entirely in doing smaranam of this Bhagavatam. And that's how he got liberated. So the knowledge has been coming in that way downwards. And this place where it is being spoken is, even now it is there, it is called as Shuktal. Shuktal, which is somewhere between Delhi and Haridwar. On the way to Haridwar from Delhi, there is a place called Shuktal, is also called as Shukratal. And so in this way, we see that this knowledge is basically a revealed knowledge at time of creation, Vedic knowledge, and also it is known as the operation manual for the entire universe. We have operation manual for a gadget. We refer that what the manufacturer has mentioned, do this, do's and the don'ts, and we follow it so that we can make the optimum use of the gadget. So similarly, there's an operation manual of the universe that is basically the Vedic scriptures. And these Vedic scriptures are, as I said in the beginning, it's vast. It is not that it's only about, it's not that it's only about Ramayana and Mahabharata, but our Vedic scriptures included things like mathematics, advanced level mathematics. Today we talk of rope geometry, we talk of Diophantine equations, we talk of integer solutions. All this was already present in our Vedic scriptures. Similarly, chemistry. The chemistry knowledge was very, very deep. Metallurgy. Metallurgy also was very deep in that. In fact, in metallurgy, if you go to some of the olden temples, there is one temple specifically in Tamil Nadu where the pillars, they emanate musical tune. I mean, that is amazing. If a pillar, imagine if a stone pillar has to emanate music inside, what sort of civil engineering, what sort of architecture must have been incorporated. Okay, and it is using high-speed alloys. So the high-speed alloys existed at that time. Today I have some background of metallurgy also because the last decade or so I was into metallurgical analysis. So it is not easy to have all these high-speed metals, sound engineering, all that. How did they get this technology at that time? Then there is water management, irrigation management. There is a dam somewhere near, I believe in Trichy, in a place called Kalanai, where this dam is supposed to be made in 200 BC. 200 BC. Okay, and that dam, it's the second oldest dam, and that dam is still in operation. The British people, they made certain fabricational changes, but not many major structural changes, but it's still existing. Then there was Vastu Shastra in our Vedas. Yeah, there was different kinds of, even leadership. Leadership existed in Vedas, management, planning, health, all you name anything, nothing is missed out. But the sad part is uh, none of us got proper exposure to these scriptures. And with the subsequent, invasion, Mughal rule, and then British rule, and all that, gradually the back of our Vedic scripture was broken by Lord Macaulay, and then gradually that resulted in decline of the Vedas. And we were made to believe that all this knowledge or whatever is coming from our scriptures is myth. That's why our texts are called mythology by the British people. And our educational curriculum taught, I learned that way. My generation learned it as a mythology. But thankfully, it was corrected quickly. And we understand that it's not myth, it's all reality. So we need to pass on this wealth, this is a real wealth to the next generation. So all that we need to is package it properly. Because if we show it as a religious text, people don't want to come near it. So it needs to be packaged nicely like a management lifestyle book. And then because the younger generation, they approach different management gurus because they feel that management means it has to come from the Western world. But we had everything in our culture. In fact, when I was young, I remember my father used to tell that when he was young, at that time in his village, the only way they could spend the evenings was to hear some stories. They used to all gather in some corner in the village, and there'll be Mahabharat story recited, there'll be Ramayana story recited, there'll be something on the Vedanta Sutra, Upanishads. And it was like when we grew, it was all Chaya Geet and Saas Bahu serials and all that. But the earlier generation grew in a proper, they got exposed to the right knowledge, and that's why they were far more blissful. They had less of health issues. So this is very, it's very interesting to know that these things are all existing, and we need to now pass it on properly to the next generation. So the focus here today will be, I'll be talking about from Ramayana, what lessons we can learn. And of course, Ramayana gives several life lessons, but I will not be talking about the life lessons. I'll be focusing more on the leadership lessons because how it can be used in the corporate world, and how actually it's being followed without the knowledge that they're actually the source is Ramayana. So with that kind of introduction, let's go to the topic. So I've extracted around 10 leadership lessons, and now the time is 7:20. Hopefully, in the next 40 minutes, I'll be able to complete this 10 leadership lessons from Ramayana. Okay, and so first let us understand what is the meaning of Ramayana. So often when we think of Ramayana, we directly think of the characters, we directly think of the storyline, and who did what in Ramayana. And here and there something we remember because thanks to Ramanand Sagar, who in the 80s and 90s, had a nice, beautiful serial of Ramayana. Some of us who grew at that time remember as a serial. Otherwise, I think I wouldn't have probably been exposed to Ramayana at all. So Ramayana actually means, a direction. Like just you have Uttarayan, you have Dakshinayan. So Uttarayan and Dakshinayan represent the direction that the sun traverses a path, isn't it? So similarly, Ramayan is basically a direction or a path shown by the great Lord Sri Ram. Okay, and a common man can actually imbibe it, and he can traverse that kind of a path and achieve the ultimate destination. That in itself would be a great lesson. So with that, we go to the next slide. All right. So we should understand that Ramayana, see, Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata, we know, took place about roughly 5,000 years back. And many people still believe that Ramayana happened about 7,000 years from now, that is 5,000 years, 2,000 years before Mahabharata. Some say 12,000 years before now. But the correct answer is that it is close to a million years old. Because imagine it has happened, an event episode that happened in Treta Yuga. Now we are in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years, out of which only 5,000 years are over. We are at the beginning of Kali Yuga. And prior to this, there was Dwapar Yuga, and the lifespan of Dwapar Yuga is 2x. If Kali Yuga is x, Dwapar is 2x. So 4.32 lakhs becomes 8.64 lakhs. So, and this has happened in Treta Yuga, that is before Dwapar Yuga. And assuming it must have happened somewhere towards the end of the Treta Yuga, so let's say I take about 1 lakh years from there, and another 8 lakh 64,000 from there, from the Dwapar, and 5,000 from here. So we can easily say that what we are discussing today is about an episode or lessons from an episode that has happened approximately a million years ago. So that is the power of Ramayana. That's why we say that this is a wisdom that breathes even now. It is not a dead wisdom. It's a wisdom that breathes. So there are so many analogies that are coming out from Ramayana that it will take maybe hours and hours or even days to cover everything. Each and everything is a lesson in Ramayana. So we will cover some of the things, not everything. And before that, let me touch briefly on the background of Ramayana, just to refresh everybody's mind on that. So Ramayana is a itihas from our ancient times, as I said, Treta Yuga, and it has got 24,000 verses. Okay, there was a king named Dashrath with 4 sons named Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna. And Rama was married to Sita, Bharat was married to Mandavi, Lakshmana to Urmila, and Shatrughan to Shrutikirti. And these 4 brothers, they had an elder sister by the name Shanta. And things looked so good until an interesting turn happened when Rama was about to be coronated by the will of his father and the citizens. His father, that is Dashrath, King Dashrath, and in general the citizens, they all were favoring Ram to become the king. So everything is announced. Next day he is supposed to be coronated, and instead the twist and turn, the turn happened that he was exiled for 14 long years. So Ramayana is full of twists and turns, and this great epic was compiled by the great sage Valmiki. See, Valmiki himself was a hunter and a dacoit by the name Ratnakar. And somehow, by the blessings of sage Narada, he took up to meditation, and he meditated to such an extent that his entire body got covered with ant hill. And this ant hill is called Valmika. And then when Narad Muni, sage Narad, came back again, he saw that, oh, he's completely covered and he's still meditating. Mara, 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 mara. So he removed all the anthill, and the person who came from Valmika is Valmiki. So it's complete transformation. That means from a Ratnakar hunter and dacoit, he became a sage Valmiki. And then Brahmaji further blessed him that he will now be able to remember all the things that happened in the history of Ramayana. Actually, it was a contemporary thing. I mean, Valmiki was there when Ramayana happened, but then to capture each and everything, it had to be like how Brahma got the Vedic knowledge from Vishnu. Tene Brahma is the Adi Kavi. Similarly, Brahmaji transferred this knowledge of Ramayana, complete knowledge, like a slate inside his heart. So therefore, it is very, very sacred, and association with sages made a big difference for the sage Valmiki. And it is said that Ramayana is Nasti Ramayana Sparam. That means there is no text or literature in the history that can compare or be greater than Ramayana. Just like how there is nothing comparable or greater than Ganges as a Tirtha. Nasti Ganga Samam Tirtham. There's nothing equivalent or greater than Ganga. Similarly, Nasti Matro Samam Guru. Mother is the first teacher. There is no teacher or guru better, greater than mother. Nasti Devo Samam Vishnu. There are no devatas who are greater than Vishnu. So like that, Nasti Ramayana Sparam. There is no text which is greater than Ramayana. So with this, we move. So Ramayana teaches us several life lessons, and that are relevant even today, the present modern times, to manage both our personal and professional lives. So let's explore few important lessons. Well, the first leadership mantra, whenever we enter into talk of leadership, we have a famous saying that leadership is all about planning. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. This is a very, very famous leadership mantra. So which means that the first thing that any leader should aspire to do is planning, or what we call in modern management terms is strategic planning. There are a lot of keywords like that added by the management gurus. They say management modern strategic planning. So let's see what is that. So there are 6 elements to this modern strategic planning, and the key insights we'll explore. All this strategic planning for any business model should have these key elements, 6 key elements. That is, it should have a vision, and the vision should be a big vision. Usually it outlines what is the cost, when what for is the business present, what for it is standing, what does the organization stand for, and one of the examples that comes to the mind is this company Apple. So Apple, which is managed by Tim Cook. Of course, the founders were Tim Cook and Steve Jobs, and they are makers of Macintosh PC, iPhone, iWatch, and few other products also. So if you see the vision, this is one of the best visions I came across in the corporate world. It says that they they're answering this question, what? To make the best products on earth and to leave the world better than what we found it. It's a very profound statement and such a massive statement, because they are not thinking small things, like we want to be the best in the phone, we want to be the leaders here. No, they are saying we want to do the best products on earth and leave the world with a better place than what we found it. So it's basically the complete vision of the corporate statement. It includes even the benefits. They want to give something beneficial to the people. That's what that actually we can read down the line from this particular statement. And then the mission and the core values. The mission and core values is why. Why does the company exist? So here Apple says to bring the best user experience. So the vision was to make the best products on earth, and the mission is to bring the best user experience to the customers through innovative hardware, software, and services. So you can see here the corporate vision statement includes excellence. It's basically we are talking of excellence and what benefits one can give to the people. And typically a mission statement should be like a purpose. It should be very, very clear and concise in explanation also. And Apple fully gives that. So it answers the why. So to bring the best user experience to the customer. Now, the key elements should also have objectives, because you have the vision, you have the mission. Now it should also have the objective. Objective is nothing but the goal, because at the end of the day, there has to be some goal post, as you say, to proceed. So the goal should be something like, like Apple has got, I'm not fitted with that, but you can go to the Google and check about it. See, Apple's objectives are very, very clear and so sprightly. it says that we want to bring the something like a groundbreaking technology in at the customer's fingertips. So that means if somebody has got an Apple mobile, he should be really at the fingertips. He should see what technology they're using, and it should be like a great experience for them. And by design itself, they want to have the customers' privacy. Everybody wants to have the privacy. So that kind of technology they want to develop, where they will be including that in the design itself. But more importantly, their goal is futuristic, because they are saying that today when we talk of environmental awareness and environmental friendly and all that, they are saying that we want to be carbon neutral. We want to bring we want to use what is that, parts which are used from recycled products. That means environmental waste we want to transform into recycled materials which are used for us. So they want to have the sustenance of the same thing, environmental sustainability. So that's a very clear and societal, I would say, benefit which they want to give. And more importantly, they're aiming for carbon neutrality by 2030. Wonderful. So once the vision, mission, and objectives are formulated, then the next three are primarily strategic responses. Strategy, which is basically doing some analysis, how you are going to go about it. So strategy comes about, answering things like how, strategy, and then below that is the methodology and the tactics. So these three basically answer how. And of course, there are techniques nowadays like SWOT analysis, pestle analysis, and so on. So Apple uses all of them. And so here what we understand is this, as far as the leader is concerned, these 6 elements, the leader has to first internalize. Unless he internalizes that, how can he, even project it before the audience? So somebody who is these kind of things, he should actually dream and see himself internalize inside. He should be able to, then only can bring it out. So that's why it is said a good leader must be a master in executing these 6 elements through proper leadership skills. So when we talk of, internalizing, what does it mean? So it means something within, and something that is within, it means it is a personal leadership. So what is personal leadership? For example, John Maxwell says, a leader is the one who knows the way, who goes the way, and shows the way. He has to be a complete package. So for knowing, first thing is he has to know the way, and the knowing comes from within. So a person who is a leader within, then he'll be able to exhibit his leadership qualities very well outside. So therefore, the great leaders like John Maxwell, who has written a book called Developing the Leader Within You, he says that personal leadership is a foundation of public leadership. A person cannot be a public leader if he is not a leader within. He'll just be like a show bottle leadership. So it will not be. So the personal leadership is nothing but right disposition. What I am made of, what I am actually standing for. That means, do I have the fire within me? And if I have got the fire within me, I'll have the fire to build in others also. It's just like how you say that it takes one flame to light another. If there is no first flame, how can you light the other candles? You cannot. So Ramayana offers an inside-out approach of leadership. A prime example of how a personal leadership can transform into a public leadership. So Lord Ram was not attached to the service. Sorry, he was attached to the service, not to the position. In present generation, you see that leaders are generally attached to their position. They're attached to the title. What title they carry. That is more important for the Ramchandra was totally different. He was basically showing attachment to the service. He was willing to become a king only as a service to his father, King Dashrath. And he also wanted to go to the forest as a service to his father. That is the right disposition. How can I serve to make my father happy? That shows that he was a leader within. So now let's see the 10 lessons that we can extract with this kind of a background. Let's explore this. So the first lesson, having known the strategic planning, let's see how Ram was the ultimate expert in strategic planning, and this is 1 million years ago. Okay, so Lord Ramchandra was already an excellent in vision. He said big vision. Big vision means what? It is not something that is on a small scale. His vision was completely selfless. His vision was to establish peace and harmony in the entire universe by engaging all his subjects and not some specific people only, all his subjects lovingly and providing equal opportunity to all without any discrimination, irrespective of their status. Dear friends, this is what is called as Ram Rajya. Ram Rajya, what we understand now, I don't know how much we understand, but Ram Rajya is such a broad terminology that, it will really give us joy even to understand what is Ram Rajya, leave alone the political leader establishing it any time in the future. In the Ram Rajya, it is said that no one suffers from any sort of illness or any mental agony or anguish. All the people are always happy. They are always prosperous. They have no fear of any thieves or poverty, hunger, nothing like that. The food is available in plenty, fruits, vegetables, all the dairy products, everything is available abundantly. So absolutely, whether it is all towns and villages, they're having surplus. So no question of any starvation at all. And each and every person in the kingdom, in Ram Rajya, is always very virtuous because the leader is virtuous. So the praja is also very virtuous, and you don't come across any even natural disasters like volcano, earthquake, flooding. Nothing happens. Famines, nothing like that. That's how you don't hear that. Women are extremely chaste and pure. They don't have to suffer unnatural widowhood. So, a lot of things one experiences as we read the scriptures, we understand what is Ram Rajya. And this can happen only if the leader, like in this case, King Ram, he himself wanted to set up this kind of a vision. And in this way, uh, before returning to the spiritual, he was there for about 11,000 years, like that he ruled the planet, Ram Rajya. And imagine if you rule that long, 11,000 years, then automatically, and that also in a blemishless, no blemish at all in his character, then no doubt we are talking about him even now after 1 million years. Okay, so the vision and mission were well pronounced. So you can see here the mission, freeing the entire universe from growing demonic mentality. And at that time, the demonic mentality was coming in the form of Ravan, representing lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, envy. In today's world, we have all these Ravan qualities within our mind. Our mind has got all this lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, envy. But during those days, people never had that. There was occasionally some people, and they were basically troublesome for the general populace. So his mission was freeing such the planet or the universe from such people. And it was an impossible goal, something very much Herculean task he set up. The goal was to rescue his wife Sita, who was kidnapped by Ravan. So to rescue her from the captivity of the powerful enemy camp. That clearly, outclassed Ram's camp in numbers, strength, weaponry, mystic powers, call whatever. In every sense, it was impossible task. So therefore, he had to come out with something out of the box strategy. So he had to come out with strategy, drawing and driving clear, unambiguous roadmap through unbelievable teamwork, and all this not in the comforts of Ayodhya, but in the banishment of forest. So he came out with mind-blowing tactics. And dear friends, SWOT analysis was used at that time also. So SWOT analysis, what we talk today, as something that came out in the 1960s. We are talking here. We understand that it is already there. Existing SWOT analysis was used by Ramchandra at that time also with limited resources of the that he had, and he got the work done by humans and animals in combination. So this is how actually he was strategizing himself with mind-blowing tactics. And then, of course, with excellent leadership skills. You can see that he had the knack of identifying the right resources excellent. He was excellent in communication. He was leading with empathy, providing motivation with empowerment, developing intimacy with all the members in the team. And after they rendered services, he was offering gratitude, which is a very great quality that is missing today. We take help, but we hardly say thank you. And building confidence by his own example. That means, as a leader, he walked the talk, which will be one of our lessons also, which will come shortly. And he ignored his own pain for the larger cause. So, therefore, we can say that Ramayana is the source of modern leadership. Dear friends, we are not trying to map the modern leadership first and then, oh, how Ramayana fits in that. No. Ramayana already had this. So now what we are trying to figure out is how the modern leadership has actually evolved using Ramayana, because all these points are there in Ramayana. So now we go to lesson 2. This is a very important lesson. A leader must walk the talk. What does it mean? It means that a leader must lead by his own personal example. Lord Ram led a simple, non-duplicitous life. He was an ideal leader, blemishless character, filled with all the good qualities. In fact, somewhere I read, the research that is done in the corporate, they say that 90% of the subordinates, okay, they leave the organization not because of the organization is bad or good. They leave it because they had a poor leader whom they had to report to. That's a fact. And vice versa, 90% subordinates also get hooked to a leader who shows exemplary character and great attitude. So we know that Ramchandra had exceptional qualities, and that's why he was called Maryada Purushottam. He had 16 great qualities, which will come up in the next slide. But you can see here that despite being banished from the kingdom for 14 years, he did not plot any revenge against his half-brother Bharat and against his stepmother Kaikeyi. There was no element of jealousy or anger, not even one bit. He never felt that his mother Kaikeyi was a stepmother. He treated her with equal respect, the way he treated his own mother Kausalya. And when he defeated Vali, so this again brings out his exemplary character. When he defeated Vali in Kishkinda, the defeat was not to occupy the throne, but he made Sugriv, the brother of Vali, as a leader. And similarly, when he conquered Lanka, he made Vibhishan the king. If he wanted, Vibhishan told Ram that you can now rule Lanka. Ram said, no, I have got no interest to rule. I just came here to defeat this person because he was a troublesome person for everyone. And now, Vibhishan, you are the right person to take control. So you can see that even when he was in the forest, he didn't waste his time doing unnecessary things or something unworthy. He completely utilized his time learning more wisdom from all these sages. In fact, there is in the scriptures it's also mentioned that when Narad Muni, sage Narad Muni came and met Valmiki in his hermitage. So at that time, Valmiki put a question to sage Narada, that I'll say this in Sanskrit first, then we can understand what is the meaning. It is Kaunu asmin sampradam loke gunavan kah cha viryavan dharmagnya cha kritagnya satyavako dridhavrata. That means, who is the person in this entire universe who is representing good qualities like Gunavan, somebody who's like virtuous, then Gunavan, then of course Viryavan. Viryavan means somebody who is exemplary bravery, who's got excellent charisma also, and somebody who is full of vigor. And then Dharmagnya, somebody who is the follower, who lives by Dharma, who breathes Dharma, practices Dharma, who understands the complete duties, okay, right actions to do. Who is that person? Kritagnya. Who is that person who is full of gratitude? Is there anyone in this world who is full of gratitude? He was asked. So here, Ramchandra was an excellent example. And then Satyavako, who is very truthful. and who is Dridhavarta. Dridhavarta is somebody who is very resolute, who is always standing by his vow, like Ek Patni Vrta, hmm? and obeying his father's commands, Dridhavarta. So, like that, unlimited qualities he has displayed. So, this makes him a real role model. So, in the corporate world, a leader who is a role model is the ideal leader, because if he has some good qualities, then automatically he'll have a lot of subordinates who will follow him, and then automatically the success will start coming for the leader also. So we'll quickly see the 16 qualities that is mentioned in the scriptures of Ramayana, because these are very, very good qualities. And as a leader should try to imbibe these qualities. The first one is Gunavan, which we said is somebody who is very principled and also very much excels in all the great qualities. Then Viryavan, somebody who's endowed with great potential and prowess, ability to lead. And then Dharmagnya, somebody who's well versed with Dharma and is following the universal laws of universal, integral justice, as they say. And then next one is Kritagnya, that is somebody who is very grateful, even to a person who is actually causing harm to him. Like in this case, Kaikeyi was causing harm, but still he had a great respect and gratitude for her also. Somebody who is Satyavakya, who is always followed the path of truthful. Somebody who is Dridhavrta, he is always, even if he is surrounded by adversities, he will never forsake the Dharma, because he is so much follower that come what may, I will follow with the determination, I will follow this. Then Charitrena cha yo yukta. Charitrena cha yoko yukta. That means somebody who values, who maintains high moral standards. His charitra is very, very, his conduct is very, very good. Personal conduct is extremely good. Then Sarva Bhuteshu ko hitaha. That is nothing which we said Ram Rajya. That means not only human beings, but all the living beings are nicely, lovingly taken care. Then Vidwan, a leader should be highly qualified in all the respects. Not only in the subjects that he's doing, because it helps when he's having very much all-round knowledge. So here Ramchandra was knower of everything. Then Samartha. Samartha is somebody who is very competent in doing things which are, unimaginable. Sometimes, a leader does difficult things so easily that automatically gets respect of his subordinates. So here, Lord Ramchandra did some things that cannot be done by a normal person. Ekapriya Darshanaha. So Ekapriya Darshana is primarily appearing, his appearance, his internal appearance is so handsome. He's a very nice, pleasing personality that sometimes even from the enemy camp, they also like him so much just by his personality. Then Atmavan. Atmavan is somebody who is completely controlled person. Controls all his indriyas, senses. Atmavan. And also he can conquer his mind. The next point, Jito Krodo. That means somebody who has won victory over anger. Indirectly is controlling his anger. Okay. Then next is 14th is Dutiman. Dutiman is a special splendor. There is a charisma that is emanating from the personality of the leader. Then Anashyakaha. Anashyaka is somebody who never gets envious about another person's, in any way, the other person is more knowledgeable, the other person is more wealthy or has progressed beyond or more powerful. Leader will never mind that. And finally, the 16th quality is Kasya Bibhyati Devaha cha Jata Roshasya Samyuge. That means even the Devtas fear such a person. Of course, this is the case of Ramchandra, but in contemporary, Devtas don't have to fear the leaders here in the Bhurloka, in the material world. But here, example given is Varun, even this Varun Devta, Varun Dev was also, there is an episode where Varun Dev also was trembling when Lord Ramchandra got angry on him. So if it comes to that, that's it. So we go to lesson 3. Okay. I just want to request Dr. Sen Saab that I may slightly go a little over time. So please allow me, because we are going systematically one by one. From now on, it will be a bit faster. So please bear with me. Maybe in about 15-20 minutes, I should be able to cover. Okay. Thank you. So lesson 3. Lesson 3 is methodology. The methodology, as I said before, Ramchandra already was expert in using the SWOT analysis. How to rescue Sita. That was the goal from Ravan's den. So the battle now is not in the home ground. It was in the enemy's camp. So if you see in SWOT analysis, that becomes our weakness. When something you have to go to the enemy's den, and then you have to fight, that is your weakness, because it's the enemy's strength. And also it's a threat. So in that sense, it's weakness and threat. And he knew that the camp was easily outnumbered, that his own camp was outnumbered by Ravana's camp in strength and in weaponry. So that's again a weakness and threat. So he has done a lot of analysis in this way. Then he unearthed Hanuman's potential. And because of that, he asked Hanuman to locate Sita. He knew that nobody other than Hanuman could do that. So that is a clear strength. He used Angad to broker peace, because Angad, compared to Hanuman, was much more a diplomatic person. Hanuman had some emotions. When somebody said anything ill about his Ishtadev, that is Ramchandra, Hanuman will become restless and directly he'll go to attack. He cannot bear that. But Angad was more diplomatic. So he will go and he will handle. And Angad also was quite strong. And then he found a pact. Not a pact, he found a pact with Sugriva. And he used the army of Sugriva, this monkey's army, as a coalition pact. So he had no option, but he used whatever limited resources that he had, he formed an army out of that. And that transformed into a strength. Now the entire team worked for a common goal, and therefore the execution was flawless and victorious. So in this way, we see that he has gone about very, very systematically, and he also identified a trustworthy friend in the enemy's camp. That was the real, I would say, Brahmastra, because this enemy's camp friend was Vibhishan, the brother of Ravan, and that was an opportunity that Ramchandra got in getting insights to the enemy's camp. That means he made him the like a advisor on the enemy's camp, showing how to proceed. So similarly, you can see that. Oh, sorry. He also used Jambavan. Jambavan was quite strong. He used his strength also. So like that, you can see Ramchandra used all his team members, and he compared that, he put that into the jigsaw puzzle of SWOT analysis, and then he achieved success. We go to lesson 4 now. Lesson 4, the entire Ramayana is running on the principles of ethics. That's why we say it's a victory of good over evil. So ethics is something that is good, and evil are of different types, but to be unethical is also evil in one sense, because Ravan was unethical, and that's why he was also evil. So the importance of ethics we'll see now. So Ramayana is basically an epitome of ethical principles which were followed by Sri Ram. So he followed an ethical path which was a clear sign of victory. So we see here that Ravan, for example, tricked Sita unethically because he came in the garb of a sage, and he showed that he was like he came for a bhiksha, like a poor brahmana. He came, and then he easily managed to fool her, and then he kidnapped her and went away. So that is unethical way. So Sri Ram could have adopted a similar unethical approach, but he followed ethical steps to bring Sita back, because if he wanted, he could have easily done that. And then he also sent Hanuman with a clear ethical code of warning message. What was that warning? That message was for Ravana to release Sita ethically, and to get into battle ethically. So under no circumstances, the message that Hanuman took to Ravana said that we will cause this damage, that damage. No, very, very ethical, moral principles were followed even there when conveying the things complete. And he kept giving warnings to Ravana to follow the right path. That means even when Ravan was not agreeing, he showed the warnings what could happen to him, and the entire nation could be destroyed. His innocent people could also be destroyed. So all that, for all that, he'll be responsible. The leader will be responsible. So he tried his best to convince Ravan. And after the, even while the fighting was going on with Ravana, his army, Ram never harmed any of the unarmed or injured warriors. So that is what we call as prisoners of war. They were treated with a lot of respect and dignity. So there are a lot of corporate lessons for us, dear friends, in this. When I talk of ethics, I get so much, boiled into it, because I cannot, in my entire, 3.5, 4 decades of my corporate life, I have not tolerated, for me, it is zero tolerance. If I find any of my subordinate, even under pressure, even under desperate situation, wanting to go into unethical path, I have zero tolerance for that. So I mean, we have seen that even in some of the companies, like, I remember in the younger days, there was a facial cream. They used to claim that in 7 days, the facial texture can change. 7 days you use it, and they will show the color code also. You were dark, then you became, in 3 days, you became a little bit brown, then you became light color, and then now you're quite fair. In 7 days, you get the results. It never happens. So these are the things at that time when India did not have proper laws to fix unethical things. All these things happened. I also remember there was a famous ad, "Doodh ki safedi." What is that? दूध की सफेदी निरमा से आई निरमा रंगीन कपड़ा भी खिल खिल जाए washing powder Nirma. So it never made that way. The washing powder itself was yellow color. When all other famous brands were in nice blue color, because when you add blue, it becomes to white, it gives a nice white. And here you add a detergent powder that was yellow color, and the ad said that it become doodh ki safedi. So people have got away in India with all these kind of unethical things because our laws were not stringent. Ethical practices do not last long. So I remember in the companies where I worked, in some of the American companies, it was very, very stringent laws. There was something called as SOBC, Standards of Business Conduct. Every leader and every team member has to appear that SOBC for in 6 months, twice a year, and he has to pass. If he fails, then he gets a special training. If he fails twice, then there is a red flag. Then if he fails thrice, it is a radar. So everybody should know what is the importance of following ethical standards. So therefore, I'm very happy to see this, to learn this rather from Ramayana, because when we learn this and we try to imbibe it, then we feel very, very satisfied. So a leader should be completely following the principles of ethics. Lesson 5, a leader should value partnerships and the teamwork. See, for getting success, nothing happens individually. A leader is a leader because for no reason. He has a team. And here we see that Ram had to undergo this big work of building this Ram Setu, that is the bridge from the tip of Tamil Nadu to Lanka. It is not an easy task. It has never happened before. So it is considered to be the first ever bridge in the world. It needed lots of manpower, teamwork, which was contributed by all the monkey soldiers and the leaders, including Sugriv, Jambavan, Hanuman, Nal, Neel. And we saw that Ram made friends with unconventional, unrelated people. How can somebody make friendship with a non-human being? I mean, he had no choice. He had no choice because he was in the forest, and I mean, the only option was to come back to Ayodhya and reinforce the resources and take back from Ayodhya his own army men. But if he did that, then he's breaking the commitment, his father's commitment to Kaikai. So he was a person who wanted to honor all that. So we see that each and everything was so systematically done. Like, but the important thing is, how did he get that work done from the team? The approach. What sort of approach did he use? For instance, I'll give you examples. when he had to cross the Ganges and go the other side, he had to request the Kevat. He asked the Kevat, "Can you please help me to cross on the other side?" And the Kevat obliged by washing his feet first. And because he knew that that's a Punya Karya he's doing. And immediately he took him in his boat. Then he asked the Vanaras, the monkeys, "Can you help me build this Ram Setu? Can you help me to bridge this bridge?" And immediately they all agreed. Then he asked Sugriva, "Oh Sugriva, can you help me to find Sita?" And he actually helped him get back his wife by defeating, because Bali had kidnapped Sugri's wife. So he first fixed that problem for Sugriv, and then he won over Sugriv's heart. And now he said, "I'm in a similar situation. Can you help me now?" So how well he managed the situation, and Sugriv agreed. He made friends with the hunter leader Guha. He made friends with Vibhishan, that is the leader of the enemy camp. So that means he demonstrated great Sauchalyata. That's called Sauchalyata. So teamwork actually begins and brings about a lot of a community feeling. If, for example, the leader is managing his team well. Now, suppose if we had told like a demand, "Do this for me, do that for me," nobody would do. So a leader should always approach in a very different manner. So just add the word can. Can you do this for me? By asking this like a question, "Can you do this?" Automatically the statement becomes polite. The statement connects to the person emotionally. And this is what actually Lord Ram used very well. So he brought about a nice community feeling, like a family feeling within the resources that he had. And in that, he also, with the partners that he made, he did brainstorming, because a lot of people came out with ideas, and then that improved the tested the communication skills, efficiencies, and all that. So therefore, it is said that you know in a business, it's always the teamwork that makes the dream work. Everybody carries a dream, but do they have the right balance to manage the team? Do they know how to run a team? John Maxwell says, if you are a good leader and if you can manage your team well, then the teamwork will make the dream work. What a profound statement this is. And this is all come now. But then the same thing Ramchandra has already demonstrated himself. So developing the teamwork can happen when a leader develops intimacy. If a leader develops intimacy, the team member or the subordinate will feel uh, quite open to discuss even his personal problems. It has happened with me. When I got very close to my team members, they used to discuss all their problems, personal problems, professional problems, and then they start looking at the leader as a mentor. So I was like a mentor for my team members. And then it is not like a boss. The terminology boss makes it like, a boss and a subordinate. A leader at the end of the day has a goal to fulfill. How he does it tactfully, diplomatically, how he manages the team, that all depends upon how he manages the teamwork and the partnership. Then we go to lesson number 6. All that can happen only if you have a good communication. So Mike Krzyzewski, he says that effective teamwork begins and ends with good communication. So your teamwork will fail if your communication is good. You may have the good intentions, but if you don't have the right way of communicating things, as I said, "Do this for me," it will not work. "Can you do this for me?" That will work. So effective teamwork begins and ends with communication. So communication has got, you know, let's say in this case, it was like a team of allies. It's tougher. It's very tough when you have allies. Allies means you have got monkeys on your side, you've got bear, you've got squirrel, all sorts of living species are there. And so you have to make a Mahagadbandhan. So now the political parties are talking about Mahagadbandhan. Mahagadbandhan, existed at that time also. So how well he managed the communication. So communication actually has got, an it's a art of communication. It's about conveying the message politely and also listening to others' concerns, and motivating them. So it's got basically two components, as you can see. One is speaking, other one is listening. So one should have a proper balance of the two. If one is only talking all the time and not listening, then he suffers. On the other hand, if one is only listening but is not able to talk and communicate properly, assertively, that also is not good. So one has to have a good balance. Now, in this case, Sugriva initially feared to take part in the battle, even though when so he says, because he knew Ravana's strength was very powerful and there's no way we can defeat. But the way Rama communicated effectively and he built confidence and gave the motivation and all the support to Sugriv. Sugriv immediately said, okay, we'll do it. Like when Obama came, he said, yes, we can. So like that, Sugriva said, yes, we can. So this is the way that leader knows how to extract even from the dumb person, you know. So in today's business environment, a leader has to be extremely good in communication because he's answerable to the stakeholders. So he has to ensure that he communicates very clearly, very effectively, and also so that the, with the stakeholders, so that his goals are achieved, and he is able to give customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. Lot of things are at stake. There can be conflict resolution. He has to sort it out. There are some appraisals he has to carry out. So as one becomes a bigger and bigger leader, he realizes that the communication skills has to be upped. So communication is also about being assertive. It's not that you be goody, goody, goody all the time and think that work will be done. No. Rama was trying to be goody, goody to the Varuna, the ocean king. Please give me way, I can go. But he wouldn't budge. And finally, Ramchandra had to be assertive. And the moment he moved his eyebrows, Varuna trembled. And the anger of Ram, first time it demonstrated anger, that boiled the water, the ocean water, to such an extent that Varuna had to come out and apologize and say, here I'm giving you away, please do not harm. I'm sorry, I did a mistake. So what it means is a leader has to be assertive and required. If there are any weeds in his team, he needs to properly address that also. That has been very nicely and ably demonstrated by Ramchandra. So effective communication means you be as soft as a butter and as strong as a thunderbolt. This is what actually communication is all about. Then we go to lesson number 7 that we learn from Ramayana. Ramayana is all about empathy and compassion. A leader must lead with empathy and he must also show a lot of compassion. Rama had great compassion towards the squirrel. Squirrel was a team member and the squirrel wanted to help take part in the service. So for the squirrel had limitations because of the body. So what he can do to make the bridge? Nothing. But still, because of the intimacy with Ram, because of the love that Ram showered upon the squirrel wanted to do some service. And then small pebbles it was picking up and trying to keep in one place. Looking at that, the monkeys headed by Hanuman started laughing and making fun of the squirrel. And they said, please get out of our way, otherwise you will come, we'll trample you under our feet only. We are carrying big, big boulders. And who are you to carry this small, small pebbles? So Lord Ramchandra did not appreciate that. He said that no matter what, we should respect because the squirrel is doing its duty as per its capabilities. It is not as much capable as you are, Hanuman. So if you can lift a boulder, don't think you are great. It is as difficult for the squirrel to carry that pebble. So I see the squirrel carrying the pebble in the same way as I see you carrying the boulder. So this was a very, very important. So he showed a lot of empathy towards the squirrel. Similarly, Lord Ram showed compassion towards Shabari. We know the famous story about Shabari. And, imagine she's giving jute bear after tasting to Lord Ram because Lord Ram has touched her heart, and he has she has touched his heart. So that's how the mutual reciprocation has taken place. So therefore, that is only because of his qualities of showing compassion. So that is basically compassion and empathy and compassion. Now we go to the next lesson number 8, that is integrity and commitment. So Rama upheld and honored his father, King Darshat's 2 major commitments given to Queen Kaikai. What were they? One is that he will not become the king despite coronation being announced for the next day. Because his father has given a word to Mother Kaikai, he said, okay, I will honor that And the second thing was that he also agreed to be exiled. So this is quite harsh, isn't it? Like somebody just tomorrow, imagine, is you are going to become the king, such a top position of the entire universe, and only to be discovered next day early morning before sunrise that sorry, you cannot become the king. And not only that, you cannot stay here. You have to, you're going to be banished now. You have to disappear from here for 14 years. So such a tough situation, and Ram took that as a his vachan that he gave to his father, integrity. Pran jai par vachan na jai. So he Rama followed his father's commitment in most righteous manner. So even in this tough situation, anywhere he said, "Okay, I am a dharmic person. I will follow that because you are in trouble. You have given the commitment. I am the eldest son for you. I will honor that commitment." So as a duty, dharma, he did that. Come what may, pran jai par vachan na jai. So he gave no excuses. This is very, very important for a leader. A leader never comes with excuses. And then, even if there is some adversities or tough possible situations that he encounters, who has encountered a situation tougher than what Sri Ram encountered in the forest? I mean, during the exile, so much of hardships, you know, only three of them. And it's actually for him, it's a baggage. Actually, he was to go alone. But Mother Sita said, "No, I also want to come to take care of you." So that's a baggage. Then Lakshmana said, "No, I will come to take care of both of you." Now internally, Rama has to manage everybody as an eldest person there. So, lot of hardships, adversities, poor resources, but commitments were given, and it has to be followed with full integrity. So when a leader, follows this, he earns respect because he does that with full integrity and commitment. This is very, very important principle in life, that a leader should be completely come what may, he must be full carrying out his duty, because once he gains the respect, then the stakeholders, will be more impressed, and they will invest more, and success will follow automatically, because they'll be inspired to do investment in such an organization where the leader is full of integrity. So every company will have certain systems like that, and the values come out of this integrity and commitment. The core values, as we call in our companies. So if a company is following a nice core values, surely integrity and commitment will be right up there. Then we come to lesson number 9, and this is delegation of authority and responsibility. So Ramayana is the best example of delegation, because delegation, dear friends, is the cornerstone of effective leadership. A good leader knows how to delegate both authority and responsibility. Authority in simple terms is nothing but power. That means if I give somebody, authorize somebody, that means I'm basically empowering him to take decisions on my behalf. That's how he is fully empowered. And then responsibility means I'm giving him whatever he does, he's accountable for that. So if a person is given both authority and responsibility, it means that I can do that as a leader only if I trust that person. So this is very important, and this trust comes when I know that this person has got the unique skills or qualities and abilities, guna and karma, as it's said in Bhagavad Gita. So a person who has got the right guna and karma, that is skills and abilities to follow that, he can be given the work, and we can be entrusted with responsibilities, empowerment. For instance, Hanuman was empowered with given the task to locate Sita in Ashok Vatika. Why? Because Ramchandra saw that Hanuman was the most loyal person, he was the most intelligent, he was strategic thinker, physically strong, he was brave, he could fly in the space, he was emotional. So he had all the credentials. Rama felt that he could be given these responsibilities. Then next, in the art of delegation, we see that Hanuman in turn engaged Angad. What he did? He engaged Angad for the task to broker peace with Ravan. Why? Because unlike Hanuman, who was a bit, I would say, temperamental, emotional temperamental, Angad was much more calm and diplomatic. So Angad was sent to brokers. Angad also was very strong. So therefore, Angad was quite authoritative, assertive. He had excellent communication skills and diplomatic. So he did that, fulfilled that role. So similarly, the leader has to look at persons who fit this kind of a attribute. Null and Neel were given the task of designing the bridge. Now, these were the two people you can say who are the first ever architects and engineers, because they were given the responsibility to construct a bridge or design the bridge, which was never done before. So, and they did that so successfully. So, hats off to them. So that means a leader should be able to unearth, understand who has got what talent. Vibhishan was used as a defense strategist, as a war in the war strategy of and give the enemy camp information. So because he was from the enemy camp and he was providing all the details. In fact, when they were entering there, whether to go right, left, straight, what is here, what is there, all that was delegated to Vibhishan. So he took charge from that point onwards. Lakshmana was entrusted to protect Sita when Ramchandra was away. So in this way, you see that the delegation was perfectly carried out. Okay, and with the authority and responsibility. Now we come to the last lesson. We have understood that 9 lessons. We come to the last lesson, which is decision making skills. Decision making skill is the most important attribute of the leader, and that's why it finds these numbers are not that the 10th is least important, the first is most important, not nothing like that. Here I have probably felt that the 10th will make a lasting impression after the presentation, and decision making skills of any leader is the most important attribute, because it is an ability to make decision, and provided he can make the right decision also. So this is something very, very good decision. And Ramayana offers us several lessons on decision makings. Some of the key elements in decision makings are clarity of thought. Now, clarity of thought comes only when the mind is clear. So, clarity of mind should be there. That means a person should be level headed. And nowadays we say gut feeling. What is this gut feeling? A person who has got a gut feeling, I think this person is crooked. He will not do this work for us. I think this situation is not suitable for us. I think so, or this thing is not good. So, this gut feeling that is coming is basically our inner voice. There is something called as the inner voice. It is telling us, and we are all blessed with that. So some people are experts in exhibiting that gut feeling. We all have it. And then, of course, a leader, he uses a lot of techniques to choose the best path from the multiple paths that is available for him to take before he takes a decision. And one of them is consultation. He consults his team members. So what all we can learn from this is that, for instance, when Bharat came, when Bharat was entrusted, and Bharat did not want to rule, but then ultimately, under the pressure, he was asked to rule. So he came back to, he traced Ram where he has gone, and he came to search Ram in the forest. And he told Ram that I don't want to rule. You please come back. Ram said, no, I have given the word to our father, so I'll not come now. I'll come after 14 years. So you rule. So Bharat asked him, can you give me some guidance on how I should make decisions? So Ram gave this advice to him that you consult your team and collaborate with people for different perspectives, but don't consult with everyone, because then it is commotion and chaos. You limit yourself to just 2 or 3 people amongst your trusted lieutenants. That was a very important lesson that Bharat got from Ram. Now, in the case of, and I also told him that don't entrust or don't take decisions, make decisions based on guidance from people who are your always, who are always praising you and who are a yes man, because they will not give you the right decision. Like Ravana had this problem. Ravana basically had people around him who were like yes men. Okay, they could not dare to even differ with his views. Whatever Ravana said, they'll say yes sir, like that. And as a result, there was no other opinion coming. It is only one, my way or highway. That is what actually this means in today's context. So, yeah, and the other thing is never assume anything. In the decision making skill, we should never assume something. Like here, the good example of Sugriv. Sugriv says when he saw, before he met Ram and Lakshman, when the battle between him and Sugriv was, heated up, at that time when he saw these two people coming at a distance from Rishimukh Parvat, at that time he thought that these two people, or rather he assumed that these two people were none other than Sugriv's men, and sorry, Vali's men. And then Sugriv thought that these are Vali's men and therefore they're coming to kill him. So he immediately ran from there and went into hiding. But Hanuman, after he met them, he realized that they were like, he realized that this is my Ishtadev I'm looking for. And then Hanuman convinced Sugriv that you please have a discussion with Lord Ram, and then we can make a decision. So then Sugriv and Ram, they had a dialogue. So before meeting Ram, Sugriv took a decision of running away from there. So he assumed that for a leader should never take up that role of assuming things, because he can make a gross mistake. So that way you should not do. And also never underestimate any of your team member. There could be some seniors in the team, there could be some juniors in the team. The team will have the right blend of a mixture of different people. So never underestimate any team member. Now here we understand that Nal and Neel in Ramayana, uh, what is that line that has come on the screen? I think somebody has, by mistake, maybe put a line there. Nal and Neel were the junior most team members, but they came up with a fabulous idea, which Lord Ram liked very much, and then he entrusted them role. Similarly, you will see here that when no help is coming forth, then what you will do as a leader? Then you have to take your decision, back your decision. Hanuman was asked to find Sanjeevani. The Sanjeevani is basically a herb which is to revive the dead people, which only the demons had from Sukracharya. He was blessed with that. So when Meghnad, the son of Ravan, one of the sons of Ravan, killed Lakshmana, actually Lakshmana was killed. So immediately Ram told him, in fact, I forget the name, there was one Rishi who came there and he said, go immediately and get Sanjeevani. So Hanuman went to that place and to get I think it was Dronagiri. He went there and then he didn't know how to find. There were so many shrubs there. Now, which one is Sanjeevani out of that? Which one is going to heal and cure Lakshmana? Which one will bring him back to life? How do I take a decision? So he just took a decision that I will carry the entire mountain from there. So the Dronagiri mountain was lifted by Hanuman, and that's how he brought. So that was a fabulous decision that Hanuman took on the spot, and that makes him one of the greatest ever decision makers. So therefore, in summary, after we learned this 10 thing, I am now condensing it to 5 takeaways, just so that at the end of the presentation, we all can remember at least 5 takeaways to be a good leader. And these are the real inspirations from Ramayana. First is, we have to awaken our personal leadership before embarking on personal leadership. Now, personal leadership can be awakened only when we come in contact with somebody who has awakened his personal leadership. A dull person cannot awaken another dull person. By nature, we have it intrinsically in our thing, but we are not realizing it. So when you come in contact with somebody who has got a spark, then he transfers a spark in your mind. So that is how you get the personal leadership. And once you have the personal leadership, then automatically you will have a transformation and you can become a public leader. A leader is the one who leads by one owns personal example. That means a leader should have exemplary character. He should build a great attitude. No wonder it is said that attitude determines your altitude. So if a person is having a good attitude, then automatically sky is the limit for him to climb as a leader. A leader must follow ethical path and he will surely lead to victory, and he will provide happiness. Team consultation helps if you have effective communication and follow the path of empathy and compassion that will give us rich dividends. Delegate and empower the team for decision making. This way, what happens is we become more efficient. If we keep all the powers with us as a leader, then the team will never grow. So, on the other hand, you delegate, empower them, make them grow, then each one of them will become a leader at some stage, and that way the organization also grows much faster at an exponential way. So in this way, we find great leadership lessons from Ramayana. I would like to end here with this great recitation from about Ramayana, about Ramchandra. And this depicts the complete thing that we have discussed now. Ramachandra Raghuvira Ramachandra Ranadira, Ramachandra Raghunatha, Ramachandra Jagannatha, Ramachandra Mama Bandhu, Ramachandra Dayasindhu. What a beautiful poem this is. Ramachandra Raghuvira, the lord of the Raghu dynasty. Raghu dynasty, few generations before Ramchandra, there was a famous king by the name King Raghu. He was very, very strong. That's why the dynasty is called as the Raghu dynasty. And of course, this Raghu dynasty came in the Surya Vamsha, that is Solar dynasty, that is Ikshvaku. Ramachandra Ranidhira. Ramachandra Ranidhira means the lord of the Raghu dynasty. So Ranidhira is basically the greatest. He's the greatest level-headed person. Dhira is somebody who's, Dhira Tattasana Muhyati. A person who is very, very level-headed, calm, and he's always, in any situation in the battlefield, he can be very, very calm. So he can take right decision. Ramachandra Raghunatha. Ramachandra Raghunatha means he is the lord of the Raghu dynasty. Raghunatha. Ramachandra Ramachandra Jagannatha. Ramachandra Jagannatha means he's the universe of the entire Lord. Today is Jagannath Rath Yatra. So Ramachandra came as Lord Jagannath, or Jagannath and Ramachandra are same. Ramachandra Jagannatha. Ramachandra Mama Bandho, my ultimate closest friend. There's nobody who is more closer than my own Ishtadev. And Ramachandra Dayasindhu, the ultimate ocean of mercy. Who else can give me more compassion and mercy? So that is the greatness of Lord Ramachandra. So with this, we end. And I thank you all very much for your kind patience. I'm extremely sorry that I took half an hour more time, but I think I had to cover everything in detail because we are covering 24,000 verses, dear friends, and I've covered that in over just about 90 minutes. Thank you very much. I thank Dr. Sen Gupta for giving this opportunity. And if anybody has got any comments or questions, please come forward.
Wonderful.
I think
Wonderful.
Because the time is already much up, so I think we will take a break for this particular session. It was an exciting session, a deep insight, both the combination of the ancient wisdom and the modern application. I would say it was a wonderful exposure, insight into the entire Ramayana and the lessons of leadership. So, on behalf of all of us, we extend a very, very sincere and heartfelt gratitude to Seshadri Saab. And thank you very much. And thank you, everybody present over here. Uh, thanks a lot. Goodbye and good night. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Take care. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm leaving now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Seshadri, this qualifies as a synopsis for a PhD thesis. It looks like a pre-submission seminar for a PhD proposal. So you very well qualify for a doctorate degree on this subject. This is a very interesting subject. Can the PPT be made available to us? Because